Hi, this is Trinity Light Divine. So I'm gonna talk about the topic of what's happened in the UK. Well, actually, it's not just UK's. I think it's a worldwide problem. Now, I have spoken it to my previous channels that I used to have online, um, but which um, which I know I'm a bit jealous that other people seem to get more views when it comes to talking disability, but if I'm mixed race and I don't want to do the race card, or my beliefs, um, or being low class or disadvantaged in some ways, I just don't seem to get all the hits compared to maybe because I'm a real truther. I'm a bit like my Angel Michael cards. I'm just like split in half, a double-edged sword. Probably that's why I don't get make friends in real life. I don't get on with family because I'm a straight truther. I do it with passion and love, not hatred. I'm really misunderstood in this world, and sometimes I just like, well, nobody appreciate me, and people keep me saying we don't appreciate you, and I know that some people that too scared to say they appreciate me because then they be affected because they have to choose a side, but they want to do it silently. The thing is, though, we're in a day and age where we can't. We're in an age where suffering should be ending, and you know, um, should be ending. That's what Angel Michael told me when I was um um my last near death experience when convinced when I was actually in the gates, okay, to convince me to get back. And I mean I mean the gates of heaven, okay? All right, because that's what I believe. I'm not forcing anybody, but I'm just sharing what I believe, okay? And so basically, he just basically convinced me to move back. Well, he said you don't have a choice. You need to get back in your body because I had nothing to hold on. Despite being a seer and everything, I had nothing good thing because everything was complete. My whole life has been pulled in the rug, basically. But I signed up to things I didn't thought I was signed up in this body as a soul, like dealing with the social injustice of being disabled. It's really makes me sad being born in England. I know there's so much disadvantage in the whole world with those who are disabled. And maybe England is just a softy area, but guess what? It's not. I'm made to hate myself. I really do. My family turned on against me, even though they were disabled. And those society made them bitter or love me when I loved me and love stuff. And I had to heal all that. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not surprised with eclipse, okay? Because when it was any form of eclipse, whether it's the blood moon eclipse or other eclipses, there's always going to be a shadow. And the thing is, there's been full bloom because we had a moon, so it's even more was intense with political things that can happen, that people wanted to know the welfare of what's going on with the genocide thing. I know people don't want to say, especially while you're in university people, and I tell you, university lied to you. They wanted you to be obedient. The system, those who wake up from graduates who are not even on YouTube because they are so much truth, they're high frequency. God has brought me on here because God and the angels and the garden of the galaxies, that's what I believe, okay? I was trained to believe only one thing: God, Jesus, angels, okay? But the thing is, though, I signed up a life experience where the day I was born in this cycle, which hopefully is the end of the carnation cycle, was was that this be my final, okay? Because I can't deal with being a mortal anymore, okay? I'd rather just incarnate a goddess, okay? Or incarnate a different reality than being a different planet. If I'm gonna be back in the planet, I'm gonna be crowned, okay? You know, even C.S. Lewis, a Christian, but he believed in people being crowned, okay? So, you know, I know, you know, C.S. Lewis, even C.S. Lewis, and I, you know, I'm not going to go against what the different types of Christianity because everybody's got a plain assignment of beliefs. But there are certain things that need to be speak out. And I'm one of the people who signed up to be here. I'm needed. My 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 channel, my pure love essence is not some wishy-washy ego that I signed up. Some people probably think so, but it was not. God actually told me that basically that was my life mission name. Life mission name, not my soul name, because Trinity Light Divine is my soul name because I did a retrieval, but I was here for a reason, and one of my reasons is to lead people to the true path. And I mean by those who awaken to, and maybe bring balance, okay? You know, balance the thing because I'm actually still angry with this, with the spiritual community, that then there's no one speaking out in the spiritual community about who is the UK, um, unless they experience their own self, and even then, it's the royal family or the MPs, social leaders that hide and pretend and use it to win votes, not actually because they have a true heart of humanity in them. And I'm not against them because that's their path and their purpose. But we're in a life where things should be in order, and people to be celebrated with life, and there's room for all those who are truly divinely called. And there's been preparation, whether the spiritual community would come to them bad or good, because I said, because they're just as bad as the religious community. I can be saying this. I'm not a popular person because I speak a double-edged sword, but someone has to. Someone has to say it, because if it was a good world, I would be my full potential, but I'm not. And I'm not blaming anything because I'm trying my hardest to put this out. I only manage because like, yes, I'm born in England. I'm blessed that I wasn't born in Dominica or Ireland, which would probably be maybe a bit harder. I don't know, but I was meant to be born in England for a certain, and born, raised, and lived in England for a certain time. I would love to explore different worlds that was more high frequency, more open, those who are fighting for equality, and unfortunately, I was born in a county where they would love to hide their sins and pretend nothing's happening. And it's the top world schools, the top things, the very much hypocrisy of society. Now, I'm very grateful that I'm blessed in the apartment, but I had to fight for that very hard. And I got it. But it was not, but even that was divine chance. And I mean by that, it was that the angels and the gods and myself is played by free will from others who demand what my life is. And I don't like that. I love to try to change myself as much as I can so that I could be a winner. But it's not that at all. I am sad that no one in the spiritual religious community is speaking out, who's in the UK, about this. It's just disgusting. Yes, maybe Premier Radio, the Christian praying, okay, but because I'm from a Christian background, I'm not going to deny that I unbeliever of Jesus Christ, okay? Because I seen it, okay, not in the way, the traditional way, like, oh yeah, physical. No, I meant, you know, in the spiritual plane, an angel showed me. I seen it, someone's body, home with mine, stuff like that. Okay, but this is not what. But even for me, I'm seeing it's not enough for me to enjoy this world unless people actually do what their full potential. Because even for me, it's still hard to be in this world. I would love to die. I love it. I would love to die. Because this world is so harsh. There are no real people that make room for me. And I'm speaking for the other people, even though I'm not appreciated in this world. I'm not. Whether disabled community, religious community, I'm not wanted. And I was happy to die. Really happy to die. Even my counterpart did not wanted me. In some way. Yes, he probably did, but then, as I said, he's not in my passage. I had to have faith in what? To convince me during lockdown, the biggest cruelty that history has not even talked about was the genocide and the treatment that I had endured during lockdown. I did not even, where I got COVID-19, okay, and then I got something worse. I almost had pneumonia, okay, and I know people say, oh, you can't have pneumonia unless you have to be in hospital. I tell you, the system is so down in England. Even if you did got a disabled private care, I tell you, I was locked up, forced against my will, 29 to 30-year-old, almost lived there for almost over a year. Almost over a year. For me, it felt like more. And I don't really want to remember that so much, but I'm forced to remember some things. Some things I am disappointed and angry that people not thinking. Yes, I can manifest I want, but it's still everybody's free will to who an interest if they want to make it happen. Do you understand? My life is being held back because humanity does not want me to succeed. Do not want me to die. They want me to die. Do you understand? It's not a game anymore. There's thousands of people throughout the world in history we have no idea about who died to make the world a better place. But yet all their lives is in vain because the fact that we still live in a backwards society. The whole world is backwards. And most people like me feels that it's better to be back as an angel than be here. And of course I can't do that because that's no longer my purpose anymore. My purpose is a different path because as a soul I chose to come here and live to have the opportunity to have godlike abilities and experiences to learn and what's God like, the godlike experience. And I know a lot of people don't think that's hypocrisy, but if you think about it, if you study or have conversation with Mother, Father, God, and the archangels and the high guides of the celestial light realm, because that's what I work. I don't really I never really talk to aliens and stuff, okay? I don't really know. Good for the bees, those people, but for me, my connections is like the earth plane, the celestial realm, okay? And some guardians of the galaxies, whatever, I don't know, okay? That the unknown, okay? That's who I am. I got Scorpio, I got Pisces, I got like, but a unique state but I got, my path is very unique, and maybe most people don't understand. I say, "Oh, write a book," and I'm thinking, I don't even have that gift. And I have tried, but as I said, it hasn't happened for me. The doors hasn't opened, and it's been held back. I'm 30 years old, and it's a miracle that I'm in apartment in my birth town, okay? And I mean my birth town, I mean my birth city, okay? Because Oxford City has many, many cities, but I'm fortunate to have a flat, okay? I'm been blessed that was able to get £300 worth to get a phone, and as well as trying to keep on top of my bills and everything. But but my life has been isolated for a very long time. I can't afford to do the gym. Eating healthy is one meal a day, and it's not even for a luxury. And that's just because the fact that, one, I'm going healthy, but now I don't have a choice because money is so tight. And yes, I am a manifester. I do love manifesting. I do love this, but it doesn't remove the challenges that society set up for me. Is failure. Every day, since the day I was born, society decided my life is going to be a real struggle, okay? Because people went out of my life to make sure I have hell on this earth. I don't even know what real love is. Oh, I do know what real love is, because I remember, and the spirits and an angel came to me to know what real love is. Yes, I know that, but not in the earth, because the earth has a different frequency. And people like me, my mission is to make life a little bit easier in a different frequency. It may not be physical, maybe the encouragement for other people who are more equipped to do better. I'm grateful that there are people I met in the past that said who wants to challenge the society, because I don't believe in the system. I don't, because the system, I feel like, doesn't work, because they want to destroy people, but there are those who are challenging the system that do, okay, who are lawyers, who social rights activists, and I am a social rights activist in my own way. Which for me, I tried doing the thing and it didn't work out for me. I don't know what to do, but I know my voice matters. It matters because I don't have a social life. I paid £50 for a dance card, and I can't even use that because I can't afford to do anything else. I was forced against my will, not against my will, but because you got YouTube now, you have to pay TV license for watching YouTube live. Anything live now, even if you don't even watch live, it's because that's how evil, corrupt the system is. They'll find a way to you. If you got TV or something, then you can't turn on the TV, because I remember that. We're in the time of dark ages when it's meant to be the grand light. But I know my life is to bring the light in the darkness, because that's my child has put that. But my Leo rising, I'm a Leo rising, and that means the Leo has to be lifted up. But yes, it's frustrating. It's really angry, and I'm frustrated about this. Years ago, I wanted to do a platform that said angry, disabled, coloured woman. And that's something, okay? I'm not joking. It was something that I was thinking of for years. My first YouTube channel. Instead, I just thought I'd just use my birth name, which now I moved on, because as I said, I didn't felt safe to and the gods in heavens allowed me to say, okay, we did protect you, but as I said, I didn't have anybody to physically, I didn't have any funds going in from other people. I didn't get that as I was hoping that I would, because it works for most people, but it didn't work for me. Instead, I had to manifest like fuckery. And I am angry my enemies did win. They win in and I know they're probably watching. They will find a way to watch me. And I have to just be like the strong person. Okay, the world has humanity let me down, but the spiritual realm don't. The spiritual never had it, even though it feels like there's nothing in my life. I'm crying as if my whole life has been tears. Tears. You know? And all my life, I just wanted to live abroad. I only had that one time, but the Lord was not on my side. And my family did not want to let me go. And there's probably the times that people did have the heart to want to adopt me or force me. And my parents would not do that because I was in a cage. And now I'm let go because I had to run away or had to break free in some ways. And the times in my life, I just has to have a positivity with myself. But there's some things that I have to speak out. I can't just be silent. I can't be silent. There's times in my life I have to speak out about the cruelty of the humanity and the cruelty that is in humanity, where people are ashamed to be disabled because they are treated different. Okay, once you're disabled, people treat you differently. You're treated like worse than there's no access for you in anything, no further education, no communities. And I wish there was. But there isn't. There's no room. There's no heart. There's a Bible of a prophecy about the end times. And I know people don't say, oh yes, stuff, but you know, if you read the Bible about the end times, you know that people have no heart. That they're willing to kill the weakest link. But I don't understand that they're killing not the weakest link. Disabled people are very strong spirits because they wouldn't, if their spirit was so weak, they wouldn't sign up to be disabled. They will be the weakest people are the ones who had so much power, but and so much privilege. They're the weak ones because they get everything they weigh. But those who get disadvantaged, they're the strong ones. Because I was born with the Celtic card of struggle, the root of the struggle. Okay, because my soul is so strong. Even though I don't feel like it's struggle, but there's times in my life even strangers said to me that I'm a strong person. That me or those who are too afraid to be my friends, too afraid to be actually my family. My flesh and blood, okay? They was too weak. And I had to be the strong one. The iron, which this is my Celtic nature because I'm quarter Celtic, alright? So, you know, if you want, you know, I mean like quarter Celtic, I mean dead or like quarter Irish, okay? You know, I could have a passport, you know, but I just don't feel that I don't want to sign a passport where I'm not accepted for being mixed. That's really sad because I would love to sign up for nationality where I'm appreciated and accepted, you know. But I have to just deal with it for now. Unless I'm divinely guided to say, yeah, I'll get an Irish passport, you know. But as I said, my whole life I felt I'd never been wanted. I've been held back because my whole life I'm still angry. I'm a still angry person, and I say it for true honesty because with me, a true healer was going to be honest with all their weaknesses and strength, and I would just say that, you know, maybe I'm never going to be a complete whole person, and maybe in the true, because we're not even in the true golden age yet. I wish we were, but we're not. Because if the true golden age, this is my challenge. People who keep saying this is the golden age. Well, if it's such a challenge, why is people like me making it feel like there's still no existence for me? Why can I flourish? Why can't I? Because I've tried everything. I have manifest. Tried my manifest to have best friends, to have real love. None of these things has not worked out for me. I haven't really got where I really want in life. The only thing I probably be able to manifest is a bit of money now and then, which is, like most spiritual communities would say that they hit big and then hit bottom, hit big again, hit bottom again, okay? And that's what happens. The law of nature is true. You can't go against the law of nature. There is going to be hardships in your life. There's certain points in your life because that's how it is. To show that you're still in the mortality rate. But, but I do know that I will keep manifesting the greatness of things. But it's hard that there's other people who are disabled in the spiritual community that shamed other community, or just because they mentioned about some disability or something, the other disability, because they know what we're concerned and they see it as an angle, like, oh, you said this, and I was like, no, if you really knew me, you knew my soul, you know that I didn't need any harm by that. I was just saying out the concern because that's concern. You can't manifest out disability. I wish I could manifest my disability out, but it can't. There's some things you cannot heal because there's a contract, a divine contract. If people actually is Trinity healers, true healers, they will understand there's a contract. There is life contracts on earth. Even Isis remembered me, brought me a memory about someone else's that I was so tied to, okay, for several lifetimes, and they didn't believe that. And they had more advantage than me, and they make a mock of me, and I don't talk to them, okay, because I have to fight my own values as a person, okay. I'm not gonna go crawl back for someone who makes a mockery and then take my energy and stuff, and yet they want this stuff, because God does not like for things. That's the God inside of me should be the same, the great I am. Okay, reality, right? So, my whole life I was made to be worthless. My whole life was treated like something, like beak of dirt. Be angry for being disabled. Be angry for being different in any way of life. And I'm not being awful, but even in disability, there's a lot of hate in a spiritual music, and where people who the fighters, that even disabled community are discriminating each other. There's no real love. There's no support. There is going to be one day, but if we want things to be happening, we have to pull together. We have to find more quality and because we meant to, especially now, there's people start to say, why is the rise of disability benefit claims happening? You know why? Because we're in a time where people are now forced that everybody has a disability. Everyone has a disability. That means that we all have to pull together and realise that we're all one. But nobody's realising this still. They're still in this little backward plane, very backwards plane mindset that we're not all one. We're not one family in this earth plane. And you wonder why there's no justice, and I'm speaking on the spiritual community as well, because you say you're better than the religious community. I tell you something, you're the biggest hypocrites than ever. I may have been born and suffered the Latter-day Saints Church and going to other churches, but I tell you that you're the biggest frauds. And I don't mean mean or anything, but most of these spiritual communities, they're the most genocide people in the planet. They do not make room. And I don't get the whole religious spiritual community, but it's very 1%. The 1% is good. The rest is so 100% corrupt and evil that no one believes in humanity. And if there is, because there is humanity the 1%, it's because the fact that they had to have an intervention more than several lifetimes to deal with that. And even then, there's still a damaged soul. I'm a very damaged soul. I may be whole, but I'm also a damaged soul too, you know. And many people don't really think about that. They think I'm above other people, was because, and I'm thinking, like, and if they just give me a chance response, I would say to them, well, actually, we all damage. We all have pluses and minuses. Maybe I'm above you in some parts, but the soul, I see you as equal, because as souls, we all came in as the spirits, the same thing. You know, no one's above each other when it comes to adversity. No one is you cannot manifest out of adversity. That's part of the spirits in this school, or this playfield. Yes, adversity will come out for this planet. There's hardly any adversity. There'll probably be a little bit, but not as much as at once. I don't know. Sorry, I'm a very emotional person. I feel a lot, but it's time for me to speak out about things. You know, I really do, because nobody talks about it. I wish there was more people like me. There's no one like me. We're all different, but I just wish there was more fights, more room. You know, access, because it's been difficult to even get me to self-employment. I wish I was. I'm really angry that there's haven't been much fight against this since the year 2000. There's been more discrimination and hatred and genocide actions towards disabled people, and it's just stop. And how do we stop it? All of us can do something, even maybe spiritual or physical. All our gifts can be aligned to do something. For me, my gift is speaking. That's my gift, okay? It's a challenge and stuff, you know, but you know, because I'm not very important. I'm not appreciated in the world. Some people do, but not in a way that I would like to happen. I really do, you know. I really do. It's sad. It's kind of ironic because, as I said, the clips on Friday, we couldn't even see it in where I was living at Avonton in Oxfordshire County, right? Because I live in the sense I'm not exactly in the city anymore, in Oxford City, okay? But just outside, okay? There's probably an hour bus ride, right? Because as I said, I don't have the privilege like most people you see on TV who are successful, right? And the majority of us, and the ones I would tell you, most of them, they won't probably tell you this, that most of them, they either got family and friends, or a good teacher, someone in the community that fights for them. That is a very fairy tale for a lot of people. For the people like myself, is you have to fight for every little thing. Fight through to be and say, okay, the angels told me that I have the right to live here. I have the right to have want to go out. I have to live. I'm very fortunate to have two benefits, but those benefits are going to be threatened. They've been threatened in a few days' time. We don't know. Luckily, I have a backup plan. I'm very fortunate that I'm this thing, but sometimes I'm disadvantaged because I came from a very crummy family and crummy society that made me even more disadvantaged than really was not meant to be born to. And people don't understand that. Not even the woman that was healing me, that was friends on Facebook years ago when I used to be on Facebook, okay? My account was probably there, but I left it because I wanted to to leave a mark, okay? That there was someone there that spoke out and did something, risked her life, being alienated society, okay? And treated them mockery, okay? And, even people that I thought was my side, was my enemies. Because I said, everyone betrayal you in this planet. There's no one there. And I'm not being low vibrational, I mean factual. It's a cruel world. A very cruel world. That I was forced to believe in. And all I have is some bit of visions of lightness, being a golden light in the darkness. But it's very hard. It's very hard. But yeah, sorry, it's just when I'm uploading, I'm saying that having a human experience because there's no shame in having my nose all over the place because I can't remember because I got a quiet injury and head injury. The most spiritual people be the ones that have the most challenges. And that's how I'll tell you. And the most gone through the most disadvantaged things you ever think. People may envy me at times, even the wealth privileged person who envy me, you're jealous and resent me, but they have no idea the amount of things I have to deal with. The trails, the alienation, the isolation. As I said, when I have to remain here to deal with this pain, but I have to not be like my evil enemies, where they justify, where they spoke out, say, what is a cruel world? It's a just world, so therefore I'm going to be evil because the world is evil. Well, guess what? Yes, the world is evil, but it doesn't mean you have the excuse to do more evil. What's the point is that? I'd rather just deal with making life a bit more better. I really do. Even this means that sometimes I may say things that makes me very painful, that people don't want to hear. But the thing is, though, like in Jeremiah, because that's what I know, okay? Because a person will share what they know. They don't share what they don't know, right? And that may be offensive to people, but the thing is that it's better to share what you know, right? So, with Jeremiah, as he said this, that the true prophet, a true hero prophet, is someone, actually, it's not in Jeremiah, it's all part of the books in the Bible that said, in some ways, has said, someone will tell you the truth through, your enemies are the ones who want to do the harm the most, right? And they will want you to fall. They want you to be ignorant. But those who are not ignorant will force you to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. But they're not going to keep you asleep in slumber, starting to say all these sweet, lovely things, what you want to hear. And what happens? It destroys. It's like I'm giving them ice cream all the time, right? Giving sugar in every food you're met, and then everything's sugar. Your whole food is sugar, and there's no actual food that imagine, right? You have every more food is sugar. They deplete you, and then someone tells you actually all that sugar in your food is not good for you, and it's like, well, it tastes nice though. I like it. I can't deal with that. Or someone tells you oh yeah, coffee is really bad. And the doctor's what's the point in telling this person? They're just going to be ignorant, right? Because that's the slave master, right? There's many ways, because they don't want you to be strong. being strong is telling the truth, whether it's good or bad, you know, because there's another form of slavery. It's to keep people ignorant, keep them bliss. You know, even the stories about fairies, evil fairies and stuff like that, you know, where they keep the person all bliss and everything. They don't want to know any bad things because keep them as children, right? You know, or even like what we've seen Oz and Wicked, right? The general public doesn't know the whole truth because they want them to keep them ignorant, right? Because then they wouldn't have to take responsibility for anything. And I'm not saying that, but you know, I take a lot of responsibility myself, a lot, and somehow I try not to take too much responsibility and stuff. But the thing is, though, it is a real cruel world. It is a cruel world.